Action Park
Media.
All right, welcome to Victory the Podcast. I'm Doug Ellin.
I'm Kevin Dillon.
I'm
Kevin Connolly. That's actually not Kevin Connolly. He's not here with us. He's doing a movie, which I know nothing about.
I'll tell you a little bit about it, but this reminds me of that episode of our show, Entourage, where you walk off with Vince.
One of my favorite lines. Man.
What do you say?
It was something like, it's just you and me, bro, like the good old days before those jerk-offs were around. Something like that.
I got to tell you, I feel incredibly free without Connolly. I mean, I feel like,
Yeah, it's free. It's freedom.
there's no pressure.
We do have someone in the booth with us, Mike Young here.
Mike Young, who's going to open for our live show, is here. He's gonna.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
You're going to warm up the audience a little bit.
I'm going to set the table for you, Kev.
Dude, that's
Set the
going to be
table.
a tough act to follow, Doug.
You know what? Maybe we'll just leave him on for 90 minutes and take the money.
We should warm him up.
You know what? You might be right because he's prepped.
He's funny.
He's very funny. He's very funny. So he's going to open up.
We should get Kirk Fox in there, too. Who's
He could do a tight 10.
yeah.
Put Kirk in there.
Kurt's got a big following.
Yeah, he's very funny.
Get
Very
Kurt Fox. By the way, if we get 10 big comedians, we don't have to do anything.
Nothing. You guys just
There
do a
we
meet
go.
and greet.
Yeah. By the way, Dillon loves a meet and
I'm
greet.
all about a meet and greet.
So this is for anyone. We had an episode, Mike Young. It dropped today. Your episode today, not today because this will be tomorrow, but it's up there. We have an episode that we talked about this live show, Phoenix, Saturday,
Have
February
we
11th.
talked about it, though, Doug? I don't think we've talked about it on Victory yet.
It aired today. You weren't there. Connolly
Okay.
and Mike Young. So this is happening in 2 weeks. We have to sell tickets or Kevin Dillon is going to commit suicide. So don't humiliate him. If you know anyone in Phoenix, if you like comedy, because we're going to bring some real comedians. Mike, your other friend's going to do some stuff too, right? Who's that?
My buddy Adam Ray wants to come in and do a little audience when you guys do your Q&A. He's on that show Young Rock. He's got a big following. Phoenix is his place. He'll move tickets for you.
Nice.
He's a huge fan of the show.
Cool, man.
Wants
cool.
no money.
All
He's
right.
in.
So when you guys walked in,
He doesn't want a cut of our money.
No
That's good.
cut.
yeah, and also I'll get to that in a second. But when you guys walked in, I was in a high level meeting, which I think you guys were pretty impressed by. But Wiz Khalifa, we were in a meeting.
Well,
Unbelievable.
first of all, when I walked in, I smelled weed. I was like, what the fuck is going on? I thought Kevin Connolly left because the last show we did, he was high. He
Yeah.
smoked a joint.
Which was
before
great.
It was hilarious.
Yeah. So Dillon, you're a fucking beast because Constance Schwartz, who represents Wiz and set up this meeting for me and him, she said, do you mind if he smokes in the studio? And I said, I'll smoke with him if he does the podcast. And she said, see how the vibe is. And he's awesome. He could not be nicer. But I still was nervous to go, hey, you want to do the podcast? Even though he was sitting in the seat that Mike Young is sitting in. But Dillon comes in and just goes, why don't you do the podcast right now, bro?
Come on, man. Come on, let's go.
So he said he'll come on, though. So he's going to come on. But also, Dillon, you should have seen if you could have gotten him to open for us in Phoenix. Because then we sell some tickets.
Well, then you move your show to the arena.
Yeah, exactly.
He sells arena tickets.
And then we warm him up.
Yeah. What a great guy, though. I mean, just so
Really cool dude, man.
So we're talking about doing a show together. We'll see if I want to write. But also, just a little ramble on updates. Had a big agency meeting this morning with one of the biggest agencies
Can we
in town.
maybe squeeze him into Ramble On somehow?
100%.
Why not?
By the way, that would definitely, if we end up doing this show together, me and him, it would be a great entree to get him on Ramble On first. But anyway, big agency meeting today. I think we're set with who's going to represent this, I believe, and then we will start moving forward, trying to get people to watch it. Other news before we get to whatever we're going to get to. Kevin Dillon is representing the Chicago Slice Major League Pickleball team.
Yeah, I don't usually dress like this, but I feel like a clown right now. He's got me in all this gear.
You look phenomenal. You're never a clown in Slice gear, bro.
No, I'm kidding, man.
And I'm taking
it's
it,
nice.
which maybe you could deliver it.
Hey, they're my favorite pickleball team.
But Dillon, say Slice Country, let's ride, which is
Slice Country, let's ride.
I'm stealing
I don't
that.
know any other pickleball teams, though. I have to put that out.
I am stealing that from Russell Wilson Wilson. I think he made it corny. The Slice is going to make it cool. So it's going to be Slice Country, Let's Ride. That's going to be our catchphrase.
I mean, the Slice is a move in pickleball. It makes perfect sense.
Yeah, it's phenomenal. But Mesa, Arizona, we've got our first match against Miami coming up, and we're going to see if this sport can grow because it's really seems like it is. ESPN just announced they're going to start showing pickleball. So anyway, I won't talk about it anymore because one of the reviewers said he likes to skip over anytime I mention pickleball. Yeah. So
can you imagine if Doug becomes a professional pickleball, a pro athlete?
I can't
your
be.
dream
Pretty damn good.
Your dream could come true.
Well, let me tell you two things about that because I actually believed that a year ago that was possible. I actually believed, while all these guys, Ryan Sherry and Wes Burrows and Matt McNasty all think
until you played one. Right?
I'm a hack. No, now the same guys that I played a year ago, who were always better athletes than me, but I thought this was a sport I could get rid of their athleticism. And that's no longer possible. So it's gone to a whole other level, and I am proud to admit that I suck when compared to pros. Now I'll destroy the two of you. But against these guys now, I'm not fast enough, and I'm not strong enough, and I'm not young enough.
We could be on one side of the court against you alone.
Oh, I could beat you and Mike left-handed.
No
yes.
way. No, Doug.
Yeah,
no,
I could.
no.
I could.
He probably could.
I could.
Too.
I could.
He beat me with his phone.
I know you're great.
It's not about being great. It's about that you've never played, and I will destroy you.
I've played.
All right. Well, anyway, we'll bring you out there, and we'll show you what's what. But
we'll take that challenge, Doug. We will take it.
But
Accepted.
All right. But I want to talk about because the reviews. Do you know what the reviews said? This other review, and people think I'm obsessed with the reviews. I enjoy it. I like to see it. I like to see the positivity, and I hope give Kevin Dillon more positivity because he's very fucking insecure. He needs love. Give it to him. So
I don't even read the reviews.
You know what they said?
What?
They said that we were mean, and I don't know if they mean you. And I don't know why they would mean me, but they meant Connolly. They said we were mean to Stock Tip Dave on the last episode.
I'm always good to stock.
I think so, but you know what they called us?
What?
Jocks. I've never been called a jock my whole life. The guy said, you jocks picking on Stock Tip Dave. So thank you for calling me a jock.
Now you know how I feel. I am quite a jock.
Now, Dillon, you were in the marching band in high school, so I don't know about...
Is that true?
I did a little bit of marching band stuff.
Oh, man.
And he was a drummer.
Very little, very little.
And he was a drummer, which is, I can't picture...
I was a baseball player.
I could see you being a drummer, Kev, in a band.
Yeah, I still play.
In school.
He was a drummer in the movie The Doors.
I bought drumsticks yesterday. My sticks were all chewed up.
What do you mean chewed up?
They get all chewed up. You hit the cymbals, they start breaking.
All right, so you don't chew on them.
I hit them. I hit the drums hard like a man.
All right, so Kevin Connolly is in Amsterdam. You know nothing about this.
I know he's in Amsterdam. I thought he was going to just look at
some
burlesque shows or something.
I want to see your reaction. I wish I was on a dolly track so I could push in on Kevin Dillon right now. Do you know what he's playing in this movie that he's in?
A jockey? I don't know. You tell me.
I think you're going to be even more shocked. Young, you ready for Kevin Dillon's reaction?
Yeah.
Kevin Connolly is in a major movie, major motion picture, playing Jesus Christ.
Shut up.
This is a true story.
Connolly.
Come on.
Now, I'm not sure if it's the baby Jesus or if he's a full-grown adult Jesus. He's
going to be in the manger. Maybe we could be the three kings who come in.
What do you think?
Is he really? Come on.
Yes, he really is. Yeah. Major motion picture.
Really?
Yeah. They flew him to Amsterdam and
the beard is grown out. He's on the plane, excited.
Now, can I tell you something? I laughed when he first
told me. Is it a
as
comedy?
well.
It's got to be a comedy.
I don't think it is.
It's a comedy.
Is it a comedy?
It's got to be.
I got to tell you, though, he first told me and I went, what the hell? And then I ate some edibles and I went to sleep and he was in my dream and I can actually... He also kind of morphed into Jared Leto, who I don't know if Jared Leto's ever played Jesus, but he could.
Yeah.
Connolly's got, again, don't anyone get mad at me. I know Jesus might have been black or Arabic or whatever, and Connolly's the furthest thing from black or Arabic. He's going to be the palest Jesus to have ever walked the earth.
Pale Jesus.
But he's kind of got those...
freckled Jesus?
He's got those eyes that I've seen...
He's got bright eyes. His beard's coming out.
got the eyes.
He's got a chiseled face. It's just the rest.
Chiseled face?
It's the rest of him that doesn't look like Jesus.
They better hire a small cast. I think Jesus towered above the rest.
They better use a small cross.
Put him on an apple box.
Yo, Wiz should play Jesus.
You know what? Wiz should
Wiz
play
is a
fucking
great Jesus.
Can you imagine we mentioned this on the podcast and they fire Connolly and next thing you know they're flying Wiz out to wherever this is? But he's in Amsterdam and it's coming.
Wow.
So
who else is in it? Who's doing it?
I know nothing else about it except it's obviously a real movie because they flew him to Amsterdam.
I know Alicia Silverstone's in it.
Is that right?
That's the only other person I know that's in it. And
Yeah.
it's some European directors who Kevin said were just wild.
Yeah.
He dug the script. He said it was a crazy script. I heard him on the phone with those guys.
Cool,
Everyone's
cool.
excited. And he's in Amsterdam.
Did he bring the family too, or
No.
left the family here?
No, just him and his sippy cup.
That's dangerous.
And his Bible. You know? Do you, Dillon, like, I mean, I asked this because I know, like, you can't portray the Prophet Muhammad or you could cause a lot of problems. Like, and I know when The Last Temptation of Christ came out, which is Willem Dafoe,
Yeah.
there were a lot of crazy protests and stuff. So,
Well, that was a very controversial version,
Right.
And then, of course,
you don't think Connolly's controversial as Jesus?
I mean,
It's about to be.
That's going to be fun. It's going to be a goof. It's got to be a goof.
Yeah, so people will be fine.
Nobody will get upset about it. I don't think. But,
So nothing about you as a religious person is bothered by Kevin Connolly's
you know,
Jesus Christ.
I'm not overly religious. You know, I try to make it to church on Good Friday or Christmas or whatever. But yeah.
All right. Well, I'm excited to see whatever, because I honestly, we're making fun of Kevin, but Kevin is a very underrated actor. Mike Young, you saw the Ramblon pilot. He's phenomenal in it. If we ever get it on the air, it's going to get him nominated.
I was
as
thinking
well as
that.
done.
I was thinking the same thing. I was thinking Connolly is a solid actor, and he's so often like he discards acting sometimes in his own life. And you're like, Kev, you are a damn good actor.
Yeah.
It was like when you got him on the show. I remember those days. He was like, I'm retired from acting at like 28, whatever, however old.
Yeah,
He's like, I'm only directing now.
I think, you know what, Kevin?
I understand that though. This business will make you want to quit. It really will.
It's also, I think all of us, we have this anxiety, and once you start putting yourself out there, like we were talking about it with the show after, you don't want to fail when you put all this effort into it. And, you know, when we had John McGinley on the podcast, he talked about it. You got to, like stand-up comedy, which Mike does, you got to get past that where it doesn't matter. You go in, you do your job, and if you get it, you get it, and if you don't, you don't. And I don't think any of the three of us ever are totally like that, because I hate going out and pitching an entire thing, waiting to get feedback. Do you like auditioning, Dylan?
I hate auditioning. What I hate most is putting the work in and nobody ever sees it, and it's just like a big waste of time, it feels like, in the end.
Singing for your supper.
Yeah, exactly.
You did.
One of
It
the
is-
great speeches you wrote that one, right, Doug?
Come on. No, Mike Young wrote it.
Check the office.
Singing for my supper. I wish I could remember it. It was my favorite speech.
You were amazing in it, too. And, you know, a lot of people have been talking to me online about the show recently. It's weird. There was a GQ article that came out from a trans woman who said she doesn't know why, because everything about this show should offend her, but she is obsessed with it. She's watched it 3 times and loves it. And you know, that it makes me happy, because obviously we took some heat, but I think the tide is turning. And we were talking about, somebody tweeted to me, like, did you see the show as drama was the heart? And I said, absolutely. Like, Kevin Dillon in the show, Johnny Drama, represents the real struggle of Hollywood, the real heart of Hollywood. And Vince represents the fantasy that almost none of us ever get. And we had it for a little while. We had
Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah, Mark Wahlberg does.
Like his,
He really is. Mark, you know, is why when the show first started.
Midas touch, everything he does.
When Mark first came to me about doing this show, I was like, there's no show because you have no struggle. There is no conflict. And what I tried to do, some people make fun of the ups and downs of Vince's career, but that's the real life for almost everybody in this business, and certainly has been for me, and I think for you as well, Kev.
Oh, no doubt.
So
No doubt.
It was the Wizard of Oz. Kev was the heart. Right?
Yeah.
Vince was Dorothy.
did you get
Tin
high with
Man.
Wiz? Did you get high with
I
Wiz?
wish. I was ready.
So I was the Tin Man.
I wasn't here long enough.
Turtle was the Straw Man.
It's an interesting way to look at it. Ari was the Wicked Witch of the East.
Well, I guess
It really
I guess
was. I mean, it
Vince
really
was
was.
Dorothy then.
It was Dorothy.
But, you know, Vince was the fantasy. You know, when Wiz left, and I don't know. I mean, there's certain people who come in. I've been lucky enough to meet a lot of people, and, like, I had a meeting, and I asked them for a picture. I feel like a douchebag, but you know what? There's some people that I'm just a big fan of, and I wanted a picture.
And what I always love when I'm on the road, and I've been telling Doug this for years, when I'm on the road and when I was on the road with Saget, he used to always mention Entourage, like even on stage. And so I always try to tell you, like, people in the streets, they still buzz about the show to this day. I get one every week. I get like a call from a friend, from a comedian who's like blowing up now, and they're like, "That was my favorite show. This episode, that episode."
Well,
So
every single one of those people that calls, you need to say, buy a ticket to Phoenix. I don't even care if they're in Phoenix. We have to
I'm
sell
trying to-
this.
But what's
You're
cool is
going
a lot of younger generations getting into it. I think
My
the
nephew's 22.
The pandemic helped with all that.
My
but-
nephew's 22. His whole crew at
Wow.
University of Michigan watches Entourage.
Yeah.
Cool.
There's another world out there watching and rewatching. You just, you're off on your own world, your
No,
own
listen,
career. You don't know the streets are talking.
I
They want a
100% get it.
reboot. The streets want a reboot.
And I think, just like Doug said, I think it's coming back around to where it's going to be okay to do the things thematically that you were doing
No, it
soon.
is. It's definitely come back around. And again,
it's here now.
the world evolves where,
If you just do it.
I was talking to Wiz about this. Like Ari's not going to talk the same way. That doesn't mean the show won't have the same edge and the same bite. Just you don't walk into an office and talk like that in 2023. But at the same time, men still like women. Women still like men, and and in between also. I get it, but I mean, it's just we can do it, and we're going to do some things, but we're going to do some things on the stage in Phoenix that's going to be fun. Dillon, I know it's not your favorite thing to do. Do you have anxiety about it, or you just don't?
No, I just feel like it should just be the podcast. Just do what we do here. Or we should really work through it.
Yeah.
I mean, we didn't really work through either of them.
Yeah, I'm going to have an outline that we'll talk about. We'll see if you guys like it, and then we'll go from there. But the interesting thing is I think we could do, I've been talking to these guys about, we need content always. We could do content on this whole trip. First of all, right now, it's Super Bowl weekend. We don't have flights booked, and we don't have a hotel booked.
Yeah.
And it is not easy. Mike Young was already going to be there.
I got a room. I'm good. I got people with a house. They'll put you in their
You gotta
house.
stay with Mike.
You can stay with me.
You may have to ask someone with a house, and we may have to stay there. But Connolly, Dillon, you
It's
weren't
gonna be
here.
tough, man.
You weren't here the other day. Connolly, he doesn't want to stay in an Airbnb with you and I. What kind of fucking creep is this guy?
I have a question. The Stand Up Live, February 11th, didn't Stand Up Live call you guys and go, hey, there's a beautiful hotel right next to the club?
No.
Didn't they tell you guys have rooms there?
No.
No.
But did they tell you don't have rooms there?
They didn't tell us anything. They just said,
I mean,
we'll
I'll get
see
the
you
owner.
there.
I'll get the owner on the phone right now. There's 100%
And
they
is
have
it
rooms.
decent? Is it nice?
It's a great place, boutique hotel. I think you'd like it.
Can you check?
Let's do that.
I mean, I'll get the guy on the
Let's just do
phone
that.
right after
It'd be
this.
nice to get that over with.
A lot of people don't understand that Dillon Connolly and I are so far removed from anything professional at this point that I don't know that we got an offer to go. We said yes, and now we've got to
First of
go.
all, sharing a house would be no problem with the three of us.
What's he talking
guys are-
about?
by the way,
As long as
they
we got 3 bedrooms.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
but what's he worried about in this? He's
I don't know. Maybe he wants to rub one out while he gets the chance.
Connolly
He's,
loves his privacy.
Yeah, who knows? I don't know. It's a weird one.
I've stayed at his house before.
Really?
Yeah, I was asked to leave earlier
Wait.
than you need to.
Wait, what is that?
Really?
No,
You said you've overstayed your welcome.
no.
You got to go.
Well, I got he's married with a kid now. We're not even going to get into the night I stayed at Connolly's, but Kevin likes his privacy.
Do you know that? So
Connolly's a private dude.
Dan
You know that.
Sanborn, who brought us the Johnny Drama, Johnny Walker stuff when we
Yeah.
did a commercial and the bottles and all
Yeah,
of that,
yeah.
and we did a couple other things with him. We're going out to dinner with me, him, and Connolly, and we go over to Connolly's house, and Connolly's getting ready, and I'm like, okay, open the door, let us in. He's like, no. I'm like, what do you mean no? And he left us standing in the street. I'm
No
with
way.
this exec who's also a friend, but who paid Kevin a lot of money to direct a commercial. And Kevin's like, no. I'm like, what are you, fucking crazy?
I've
What are
stayed in-
you
I've
got
stayed in a room with
body
him.
Might
there?
have been messy or something. He didn't want to show
Weird.
it to you.
Messy.
Maybe.
I stayed in Sundance with Connolly. I shared a room with Connolly. I just remember.
When we were filming?
That's
No.
probly why he's
Before.
all freaked out. He had to stay in a
He
room
woke up with Mike Young in bed with him rubbing his back.
leaning over, staring at him.
Looking at those Jesus eyes. Oh, Kevin.
Come to think of it, we checked in together and he left early. He left. It was when he had a short film at Sundance.
Short film.
Connolly had
Get
a
it,
short
Kevin?
at Sundance. I shared a room with him.
Short
And some
guy with a
reason
short, Mike.
He wanted to get out. I had the greatest weekend ever, just like I always do off your show. I've had 10 of my greatest weekends off of the trail of Entourage.
Well, what was the best?
The best was your Sundance episode. I don't even know if you remember
that
what
was
you did
fun.
for me. But Sundance episode, you called me. You go, listen, HBO has like an extra villa, or like an extra room. I'm not going to be staying there. I'm staying somewhere else. Would you want it? And I'm like, yeah, I'll take a room. I get there. It's a 4-bedroom, amazing condo at the base of the mountain with a jacuzzi. Yeah. I didn't even see you guys that weekend. I had the best weekend.
See, that's what
ever.
people need to understand.
And then all the swag you came home with.
Came home with 2 cases of swag. I still wear it.
But we have provided. I like that you tell this, Mike. I have provided you with Entourage moments. Like,
you clothed me for 6 years
and fed
do they still give swag away like that?
Not like that.
No,
that was the best.
The old days were great.
Please, Doug, I got the Mike Young Nikes, the Nike Mike Youngs from going with you. Remember to the Nike house?
Of course, I remember. Yeah,
from
Tracy
from
Gray.
the show.
Yeah,
I designed Amazing Blue. I still wear them once in a while.
I like that though, because people need to understand that's how this group has always been with our friends. Come along. Now, Mike Young was almost really part of the Entourage because Mike Young almost auditioned for E, but he decided to decline the invite. Can you imagine?
What? Really?
You don't know that?
Decline.
That would have been a different show, man.
You
that would have
think?
been a different show.
This is how
I can see him doing it though.
This is how the world is.
Yeah, I kind of can.
Are you kidding? I'd have been a great 4th friend.
Do we fire Connolly from the reboot and get Mike Young?
No, but I need to be, you have a friend who's a comedian. I mean, I got to get in the mix.
We're going to see how you do on this opening night. Opening mic for the live show, Phoenix, February 11th.
I can't wait. It's
How
going
many
to be
tickets
great.
are you going to personally sell?
I don't know. That's a lot of pressure, Doug. I'm. By the way, I'm not even reaching out. People are calling me, going, "Hey, we're buying tickets. Bought some for me and my friends." The tickets are finally on sale.
How many minutes are you doing?
I think I'm good for 81 tickets.
81 tickets?
That's just a number.
Each
81.
show? Each show?
How many seats are there?
I feel like if they know that I'm there.
No. Wait. Each show? 160 tickets?
I mean, that's what I'm. I mean, I've
be,
played there many times.
You would be phenomenal if you delivered 160.
You know the place.
The only thing I'm saying, Kev, I'd like to appear a little larger on the poster. If you look at me, it's kind of tough to see me. I look like a mistake in the corner, but I'm not gonna fight with Doug.
I haven't seen the poster.
It's almost as funny as the poster Saget made for me as a joke because
who
it's
fought
like
with you?
It's you, Kevin, and Kevin, like three major figures. And there's like, if you looked, it looks like a microphone, but it's actually my body, and it's in the corner of a poster.
First of all,
special guest Mike.
I need to
cool
say
with
something. I need to say something. Kev, let me have this floor for a minute. I got a jerk off on the Ramble On show who went crazy over an unreleased press release that was sent to him so he could give his comments. And we'll never speak again over this. I sent it to you for your comments, and before I even had a chance to do anything, I already got Scotty over at Aggie Park. We weren't together. I texted you. 30 seconds later, he goes, "Don't post that. Mike Young has notes." You gave your notes.
Well, I gave one note. I didn't want to say
you could have
make
said
me
whatever
larger.
You wanted.
You'll make me bigger on the next one. We'll do another poster.
By the
do
way,
another graphic.
Mike, you keep selling tickets. Your face will be bigger than Dillon's. To be honest with you,
I get kills on these, and I have not seen this poster. So where
you
is
posted it? What are you talking about? You just posted it on your Instagram. Yeah.
He takes over my Instagram. I'm gonna have to take a look.
My life is so sad. Kevin's like my young girlfriend.
Okay, yeah, this one right here.
Manage him.
Oh, there's Mike in the corner.
You see me in the corner, Kev? You don't even know that's me.
I didn't even notice you down there.
Yeah.
Well, you can have Scotty redo the poster because I don't care about any of that. The truth is, I said I don't care
25% larger, maybe.
Me at all. Dillon and Connolly are the ones that people are coming. If they're coming to see you too, nobody's coming to see me, and I'm not stupid enough to think they are. So
no, they are.
I'm going to say something.
Hopefully, I'll keep it exciting.
I don't want to keep complimenting.
No,
you
it doesn't matter.
Thing.
I'm not fishing. I'm not fishing.
No, but I'm. This is like part of the whole street game that I'm talking about. Like when I'm out there in the streets listening, they love the show. They love the actors, every character. They love all that. But people do know who you are, and they do want to hear about the show from the creator of the show. So give yourself a little more credit,
Howard
even though I
Stern.
don't need to tell you that.
I was with
You're the Howard Stern of the group.
I had lunch with Jordan Belfort, Wolf of Wall Street, a few weeks ago, and every once in a while somebody comes up to me and says something, but someone comes running, and I'm like, "Oh, Jordan is like Leo. It's crazy."
Hold on.
I'm not being funny.
What are you talking about?
Jordan Belfort
Is like
So
Leo?
he's as big of a star, you're saying.
I'm telling you that
People run up to him like that.
For real, someone sprinted down Cannon Drive after him with the book and said, please sign this. 2 girls come over and say, "You inspired me to go to business school." Yes, he is. I'm not saying he's Leonardo DiCaprio. He is one of the biggest
Wall
right
Street
now,
stars.
Stars of someone I've been in the streets.
But every once in a while, someone comes at him with a hatchet, like, you ruined my life. I'm in the poorhouse because of you.
I have not seen that. I've just seen love. People love them, and redemption stories people are into. But anyway, I don't get a lot of love. But someone was coming over, and I thought they were coming over to say something to me. So I was like, well, and it was pretty uncomfortably embarrassing. But anyway, I don't care. I'm not looking for people to come from me. Kevin Dillon is the guy. We talked about this a little bit before the show started. The reviews, we're polarizing Connolly and I. There's a selection of people that hate Connolly or hate me. Everybody loves Dillon. This guy could show up 3 hours late for the podcast. This guy could not show up at all. It's just like, Dillon's great. And look, I love you too, so I don't know what it is.
Where are these reviews coming from? I didn't even know they reviewed podcasts.
We have about 7,000. About 7,000.
Really?
Yeah, so people listen and review, and I always ask every week, if you don't like something, DM Connolly, but put a 5-star review. Don't trash us on and whoever said we're mean to Stock Tip Dave. I just had a pizza with Stock Tip. Trust me,
We
he loves
love
us.
Dave. Everyone loves Dave.
All right, he's awesome.
All right, what
I have
else?
a question.
Got me a perfect coffee today.
You talked about you talked
This
about
guy could shine a shoe, man.
and it's funny, right?
Go ahead.
Gold. But you talked about structuring the show because like as a live performer, I see you guys sitting on a gold mine. Have you thought about the structure of the show, top
Little
to
bit.
bottom?
That's what I want to know.
Because I just from my take, Kev, if you just put a simple structure, nothing to even stress about. Intro, meet the guy, sit down, 10 famous lines, here's a clip, let's talk, Q&A, whatever your structure
That's
is.
Yeah,
essentially
that's
what we
kind of what we did, right?
If you just built it in a box and you played in the box, you kill it. You don't have any stress.
Yeah,
you
I
know
think-
where you're
I
going.
think we'll be good.
And it becomes an.
I
But
mean,
this is like the first of what could be a huge thing.
Yeah.
I'm just saying,
we've done
have
it
a
twice.
structure.
I love the first one.
Yeah.
It was a smaller house. The second one was okay. Wasn't as good.
The second one was huge.
I had a flu.
Yeah.
And it was like, how big was that? Was a big theater.
1,000 seats.
Yeah.
That was
How big is this one, Doug? I'm trying to.
600.
Okay, that's better.
Yeah,
It's a nice room.
The
It's a nice
Paramount,
room.
the Paramount, which is one of the nicest theaters I've ever been to in Long Island.
Love
it
it.
was
It's awesome.
scary.
Yeah.
And Dice sells that out all the time, but he's Dice and he does it. I actually, we keep talking about opening. I wanted to ask Dice, hey, why don't you come with us? But it's like,
I tried to get Dice in my movie. I told you that conversation.
said no?
It's one of the funniest things
What
I've
happened?
heard. He goes, Mike, here's what's going to happen. I go, Dice, I'm doing an independent film. I would love you to be in it. I'd be honored to have you in it. We don't have a ton of money. He goes, here's what you're going to do. You're going to make me an offer. I'm going to say no. You're going to go back to the guys with the money. You're going to double the offer. I'm going to come back. You're going to come back to me. I'm going to say no one more time. I go, Andrew, I love you, bro, but I just already know we can't afford you. I'm so
Dice
I'm
does
a
the
fan.
fucking.
He is. Dice does the fucking.
We do the fucking.
He
I
is the
tried.
most interesting dude ever.
I tried to get him on the what is it? The Josh Duhamel movie, the
Buddy games.
Buddy Games.
By the way,
And he said no. He said, he had something that conflicted with it. It was a great part. He would have been great at it. It's going to be great nonetheless, but
I don't know if
couldn't do it.
I don't know if I've ever told this. And by the way, anyone who's listening who doesn't, for some reason, know Andrew Dice Clay was the biggest comedian in the world when we were growing up, and is one of my favorites, and is honestly one of the most talented people. They don't get how good he is at what he does, and as an actor as well. But when we did the show, he came to my house the night before, and he brought 13 pages of handwritten rewrites.
Oh, I remember.
And but also it was right before and he'll tell this, he says it in his book, which I wrote the forward to, but his career rebounded from Entourage. Woody Allen saw it, put him in Blue Jasmine. Scorsese saw that, put him in something. Then he was Star is Born, and he had a series vinyl, and he's absolutely amazing. But he brings these rewrites over, and a lot of it was like, I think he wanted to get his stand-up back. So in the middle of a scene, if he was saying to Dillon, like, hey, what's up, Johnny Drama? He would then go into like a 2-minute stand-up bit. I said, you can't really do this. But anyway, it was so long and so draining. And then we got on the set the next day, which was Steve Tisch, the owner of the Giants, was in that scene. And Connolly was pressuring me because there was a Yankee playoff game. He had to get out of there. And Dice kept going, I want to change this. I want to change that. And I want to change this. And
he cut it down to about 4 pages. It was still really long, if I recall.
no, it was all it all pretty much went, and he pretty much got on book. And I said to him, I go, Dice, you are such a good actor. I'm begging you, say the lines as they are, and then I'll give you a freebie. You can say whatever you want, but get him. And he did, and it was great.
Yeah.
But the day was so exhausting. I swear this
Did
is
you
true.
use any of his stuff that he?
Not a word. No. But it doesn't like. When actors think that you need that to make them great, he was amazing in the show, and you could
Yeah.
see it. If you remember that day on the set,
Yeah, he was great.
he just pops, and so you know sometimes you have to rein him in. But the day was so exhausting. I don't know if I've told this or not, but after it ended, I got in the car, and it was not that I felt anything outwardly, but I sat in my car and I started crying. My brain felt like it was on fire, and I thought I was having a stroke, and it was exhausting. It was absolutely exhausting. And
I remember that day being exhausting also. Just from my point of view.
I remember hearing this.
I did not cry. I'm sorry. I held back. You know.
But I don't know if you
kept it
asked me, if
together.
you found me in the car and said, why are you crying? I don't think I would have been like, I'm so sad. I'm so overworked. I just think my body was
Like, suck it up, Rob.
breaking.
You broke down.
I broke down. I almost
down.
had like a nervous breakdown because,
Wow.
you know, when you're on the set with 100 people and time is ticking away and you're debating every comma, every syllable over and over and over, and it's just like, and that's why. And I love Dice and would work with him anytime. But, you know, he asked me to do his Showtime show before he ever did it. And I was like, you know what? I can't. I can't cry every day.
I've never seen anybody act like he acts. It's almost like that's why he is Dice. He believed that he was Dice selling out arenas when he was like 12 years old. He would like write weird notes and pretend he was in an arena. He saw it all for himself.
Yeah, wow.
So he just lives.
And he's got that
in
grind,
that.
which is what I said about us, which is why we got to get out there and sell. Dice used to get up and do stand-up in like a restaurant when he was nobody. Just like, you know, there's a certain craziness to comics that, I mean, all of them have to believe they're funny, which obviously he is, but all of them have to believe it, or how could you get up in front of a crowd all the time?
Yeah.
And, you know, it's a wild world. But anyway, I would
But
love
you're right.
to
He's
open
got that grind, and that's why he keeps popping back. You
Yeah.
know, he has highs and lows, but he keeps coming back because he grinds.
Yeah.
Stand up will make you bulletproof. Like all the fear of
Yeah.
failure. Like I think I don't know what's harder, being an actor or a stand up, but the failure in stand up hurts so bad when you're in a live audience that once
When
you've
you
had
get crickets and you
Crickets.
thought you had a funny joke.
it's just so
Yeah.
it's so empty and sad
yeah.
when you get crickets
I had
that it
crickets.
toughens you up.
I had
Yeah.
crickets in front of everyone I know. And I'm not exaggerating. I did amateur for a year. It got me the money for my short film. Mark Lano of the Improv thought I was going to make it. I got people who thought I was good. I never bombed in that little arena. And then I went to New York, invited every single person I knew,
Your whole
including my
family.
family. And I first joke, crickets, and I panicked and I walked off the stage in front of 500 people. And it was a rough.
lesson.
I mean, you know, the next day,
It's a tough gig.
yeah.
The lesson there is you need to make strangers laugh. I wish you would have known that from the beginning, because everyone brings friends, brings family. They think it's going to be an easier
Yeah.
show. It's a way tougher show.
Yeah.
They know you. They're judging you. They really think
They
they
might
know
have heard
you.
that joke before.
You know what I mean? And so it's always a tougher crowd, people
Yeah.
that know you.
But
so
also, you know,
that's a heavy
Seinfeld in
move.
that doc, which is awesome, is like you can't worry about the crowd. Now, I did the cardinal sin, I believe, is, you know, comedians, they work out jokes. And sometimes the greatest comedian in the world has something they think is funny that for whatever reason other people don't.
Totally.
I went with a new joke. Like I was cocky. I was like, you know what? I get laughs. Like, I'm not saying my stage persona was there, but I was again, there's a clip of it, and 30 years later,
I saw it.
It's not that current, so it feels like whatever. But I had a nice, I know how to write a joke, and I had some good jokes, and I would always get laughs. I'm not saying it was like, oh my God, this is the most original thing I've ever seen. But you do a new joke, which I did, which I still think was a relatively good joke, and it was dead.
Did you open with the joke?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That was all I said.
cardinal sin.
That was all I said.
Yeah. Try it in the
You-
middle or towards
It was
the
during
end
the baseball strike, which nobody cares about baseball anymore, but back then they did, and the umpires were striking.
Yeah, that's because you're not a Mets fan. If you're a Mets fan, you'd be caring.
But the umpires were striking, and I was like, there's a group with a lot of leverage. I know I'm not going to the game if Pete, my favorite first base official, isn't umpiring. Okay, it's not the worst thing that's ever been
good
said.
joke.
I think it's a great
It's
joke.
fine.
good
And
joke.
it was, not only was it silent, it was people looking looking at me like I had 9 fucking foreheads. And I was like, and I choked. And also, I took out the place because I knew I could sell it out. So I'm on the marquee and I'm just an amateur.
So you said that joke and then walked off the stage.
Kevin, professional comedians are waiting behind me because it's my night. And all of them are going, when they come on the stage, who is fucking Doug Ellin? Why is this his place? Who is his place? So when I got on and did this and walked off, the next 2 hours was people abusing me. But it wasn't even nice.
You're talking about the other comedians.
The other comics, because I think they thought I was like some rich jerk off, but I wasn't. I got people to come pay their 2 drinks and show up. And my father's best friend called the next day and said, "You're killing your parents. You need to go to law school or something," So
That's terrible.
Oh my God.
It was tough, but stand up also. Mark Lano, who owns the Improver, did. I don't know.
You told me about his class. I took his class because you told me about it.
It was awesome, but he thought I was good, and I used to go up and drink because I was so fucking nervous. And he's like, "You cannot drink on the stage, like
I mean, some guys do. Most,
when you
most
make
don't.
it, but I can't be an amateur up there with a vodka and soda, But I was so nervous when I did it, and the truth is, which you've gotten by, and hopefully it doesn't happen at the opening of our show on February 11th in Phoenix, but you can't worry about the audience. You know your jokes work if you've done them multiple times, and if that
100%.
audience doesn't get it for whatever reason, then keep going.
Mike, how long have you been doing it for?
I'd say 19 years, and maybe a little longer.
Did you meet like Sam Kennison?
I never met Kennison.
He was great.
Never met Kennison.
Was he funny or what, man?
He was legend.
He was the best.
Legend. Unbelievable.
I just watched Back to School. So funny.
Yeah, I mean, he was a genius. He was
But
genius.
you're
what he
late.
did.
You're later than that. Who's
My class is Sebastian, Tony Rock, Brett Ernst, Bobby Lee from Mad TV. That was like my class that I came up with. Yeah. And most of those guys started when they were in college. I didn't start comedy till later. I was like, I don't know, I was just too nervous. I was always writing comedy, but always scared. Yeah. And then when I got to LA, it wasn't until my girlfriend at the time, Rebecca, was like, "You don't take this seriously." And that was when I considered starting.
I'll show you.
It was an "I'll show you," and that's when I considered myself starting comedy.
And then
every night.
Is that when
Comedy
she
Store.
broke up with you after she saw us?
It was 4 months after that, after she slept with her bassist.
She's an awesome. She's got a great song in "Kissing a Fool," by the way, which, as you know, but
Doug loved
There
her.
we go.
We love
Kissing
her.
the Fool. I had to do this for Connolly because he's not here. He would have given you a hard time.
Jesus is not in the room, Kev. I'm sorry, but Rebecca
might be the Antichrist.
Rebecca Johnson. I still think she's an amazing musician.
No,
but
she's brilliant.
yeah,
she really was.
She's written some hit songs for other people.
Yeah,
right?
Kelly
And
Clarkson.
she cracked a whip on you and got you going, man.
She got me going.
Kind of thank her for that.
I mean, when she said that, I didn't see her for a month. I was out every night after that, and so
But
probably broke us
Mike
up.
Young, who will open for the show, opens for Sebastian at giant arenas. For Saget for 10 years.
10 years with Saget. By the way, I watched Saget's ticket numbers increase dramatically after Entourage. So what you did for Dice, you did it for Bob too. And I watched us. We were selling out no matter what, but we were always selling out 500, 600, 700. When he had the bump on Entourage, no joke, we started playing theaters consistently. 1,200, 1,500, 2,000.
How come I'm not getting anything?
It really gave him a bump, and
People
Bob wrote
didn't
it out.
know. Yeah, he has like dirty jokes, and he's not that family guy that they thought he was.
But Kev, do you know what's so funny? I didn't know he was the family guy because I had never watched Full House in my life. I knew Bob Saget from the same thing I knew Dice from, the Rodney Dangerfield
100%.
special in 1986.
Really?
100%.
And he was a preppy, nerdy Jewish guy who told really filthy jokes, and I fucking loved him.
I knew him from Full House, so
Yeah.
I thought he was like, the nice dad. you
Yeah,
know?
no, I never saw him in Full House, and that was I miss Bob. That was
He was great.
yeah. And Mike, you met him on the set? Is that how you?
I met him in Phoenix, but you put me in touch with him. You were like, you should open for Bob Saget. I was already on the road. I'd open for Rogan, open for Joey Diaz. A lot of guys were taking me on the road, but you guys were like, you got to meet Saget. And so as I'm coming out, I did my last show in Phoenix. Bob was coming in that day. I was like, hey man, Doug says that we should meet each other. And I got a hold of him, and he came down to the club, to the Tempe Improv. I met him. He's like, come do a couple gigs with me. So he locked me in for like 2 gigs, and 2 gigs turned
You
into
say
10
come
years.
to him or come and stand up?
What do you mean?
He said, "Come to the gigs."
No, come do a couple gigs
do
with
a
me.
couple- okay.
Yeah. After I met him, he was like, "Come open for me for a couple gigs.
Wow,
we'll see how
nice.
it goes."
Yeah.
Because you never know. You know,
Yeah.
he might not like me as an opener, and I
Yeah.
went, opened for him, and all of a sudden, boom.
He doesn't want you to be better than him for once.
No. And Bob was such a star that it didn't
Yeah, he
matter
was
if I
big time.
crushed and killed.
Yeah.
It just didn't matter.
He's going to get his laughs.
And you want to crush because that way you're setting the table for these guys. They don't know nothing worse than a headliner digging himself out of a rut. Like that whole myth of you want the guy to do worse than you want the guy to do very well so that the audience
Yeah,
isn't
they-
dead
they-
and
yeah.
you're digging out of a hole.
I can't believe he's been gone a year. I can't believe
Can
it.
you believe it?
No,
Wow.
I can't. You know, do you remember?
That flew by.
Actually-
I mean, weren't we talking about that on the podcast?
Yeah, I
So
can't
we've been
believe
doing this over a year.
Yeah, we've been doing this almost 3 years, bro. What? The pandemic just started when we started.
No, it hasn't been 3 years.
Yeah, it is.
It's been 2.
I think it's 3. I don't know.
It'll be 3 years in June.
Oh my God.
Kev, have you ever
This is crazy. This is
Have,
flying by.
have you ever toured on any in a band or ever done any kind of like live touring situation?
No. I mean, I've done.
I
They
mean,
used to
movies
do
are on
like
location, but-
movie tours where you're doing promotions for a movie and you'd go to
Yeah.
15 cities in 2 weeks.
Right. I'm just wondering how you'll if you'll dig it if you guys hit a real tour, like how you would if you would enjoy it. Could you enjoy it?
It's a grind. I didn't love it.
Yeah.
Didn't love it.
Don't
What's the
love the travel.
grind?
City after city,
We're
airport
not going to
after
do.
airport.
Listen, we're not going to do
just-
400 shows, but
No,
if we,
I mean, if we
if we did 50 shows a year, 50 nights a weekend,
no,
you
no,
fly to
I-
Phoenix, fly to Vegas.
this
fly-
wouldn't be the same.
No.
This wouldn't be the same.
No, and it's not, anyway, we'll see. But whoever's out
do
there,
it. I'll
if
do
you
it.
got any ideas for what you want to hear us talk about in one of these live shows, let us know. Dillon, come to the show. Dillon will sign your calf.
Yeah,
By the way, I was in
I
the
did
room with
sign
you
some
when we did the
calves.
calf episode.
Yeah?
Do you remember? This, and you'll probably tell me that I'm wrong and I'm off, but I remembered playing basketball with David Arquette at Leo's house, name drop, and he had the biggest freaking calves.
Yeah.
And I remember coming to you talking about calves. Does that ring a bell at all?
Nope. And not only that, it may have for the movie, because that's why I put David Arquette in the movie with his big calves.
What a calf!
But the idea
Yeah.
came
This guy's
from,
calf.
and
Well,
one of the
we
reasons,
had a calf off, me and him, because I got some calves too, bro.
I remember yours being chiseled, but his were just like Samoan thick.
Yeah, he's got thick, but I got the chisel.
His were
the reason
skateboard.
I am not
Don't make me whip him out right now. I'll do it.
reason I'm not a professional athlete is because of the calves. And Melissa Ellin, my ex-wife in Hawaii, said, I don't remember what the hell she said. 2 things happened on that trip. I was reading the book Pablo Escobar. It's where Medellin came from. And 2, she said something about my calves, which I've heard my whole life. So fuck all of you.
She
I
said
hated
you
the
need
reviews.
implants, bro. That's
You know what?
she said.
But she didn't say it like in a mean way. She said it in some way. It was funny. And I remember back then, because think about it, you can get calf implants. I didn't actually believe you could in 2003. But anyway, that's where it came from. You may have brought up the idea for the movie, and maybe that's where I put David Arquette in it. But
Hey, by the way,
That's so
you
funny.
just brought up Pablo Escobar. Did you see there's a show out now about like smoke jumpers?
Yeah, yeah.
Another thing you've predicted.
Yeah.
You know, Aquaman, now smoke jumpers.
yeah, I predicted a lot. So
Is it a documentary?
No, it's
What's
a
a
TV show.
What's a smoke jumper?
they're the firemen who jump out of the, or I don't know. They
firefighters that
Do they
jump,
jump
out of
the
a
planes?
plane and they parachute into, they get behind the fire. It's a really dangerous job.
Yeah, we did that in the show. I think Werner directed that movie, which is Skarsgård, who's a genius. I think
Yeah.
that was the
Oh, he's
episode.
so
And
good, man.
Jason Patrick was in Smoke Jumpers, I think. I don't know.
Yeah, it was Jason Patrick.
So, all right, well, Saturday, February 11th in Phoenix. Please come. Please suggest whatever you
Bring
want to hear us
10
talk
friends.
about. Bring 10 friends.
Stand Up Live is the venue. StandUpLive.com. Go to StandUpLive.com. Get your tickets.
Yeah, and also follow the YouTube channel. Stock tip, is there anything they have to look for on the YouTube channel? Oh, it's the Action Park YouTube channel.
And we're
everyone-
going to meet everyone, too, afterwards.
Well, don't say that. That's 1,200 people. We'll be
I'll
there
do
for
cut
4
control.
months. I think you actually have
1,200?
to pay for the meet and greet.
By the way,
Anyone who wants to be met, we will meet you.
definitely
You're going to have to want it, though.
think about how you're going to do the meet and greet. Get this organized
What
with
do you
the
mean,
guy.
think about it?
No, because it could be one person could want to ask you 100 questions. You could be there for 5-7 hours.
No.
Yes.
Think about how the meet and greet's
Yes,
going
we
to go,
actually,
Doug.
that happened last time.
Get
and we were
organized on it.
Mike August will stop
We got to
that.
move this faster, man. This is going a little.
Dylan, you're going to carry a sliced pickleball racket. Anyone who goes on too long, you're going to crack him in the head.
All right, sounds
What do you
good.
think of that? All right.
That sounds fun.
Roll Slice, Slice Country, Let's Ride. And Saturday, February 11th, Phoenix, YouTube channel, Action Park. I guess it's all of Connolly's podcast, but we're selling Victory the podcast. That's it.
Be there.
Action Park
Media.